Hey guys, Dal here from Dal's Rigging and Crane Tips. On today's video, I'm going to be doing radio communication, and so these are just, I'm going to give you 7 handy tips on just the startup things when you're in range of the crane driver so he can see what you're doing. Just some handy tips which will make you better on the radio. Now, it's a 2-part series, so this video here will just be radio communication. The second video that I'm going to do is going to be radio communication while the crane driver's blind. Okay, and so that'll be a good one when the crane driver can't see what he's doing, not because he's blind, but because there's things in his way that prohibit him from seeing the rigger or seeing the load. Okay, but we'll get into that in the next video. So this video, 7 handy tips with the radio. Alright, my first tip is don't mumble. Now, you might not know what you're doing it, but an angry crane driver, he'll probably throw something at you or he'll let you know that you're mumbling, but don't mumble. So a part of that is being confident, and some people, if they aren't confident, they'll mumble or they'll whisper or they won't talk as loud. Don't do that. Be loud, be proud, and don't mumble. If you're going to be speaking, speak clearly, speak loud, down on the hook, and then all that does is in the crane operator's mind, he doesn't have any doubt in what you're trying to tell him. He knows that you want to come down if that's a command, or you want to come up if that's a command. As soon as you start mumbling, whatever you're doing, it takes the confidence out of the crane operator, because he can't hear you. He's going to be asking you all the time, can you repeat, can you say it? You know, maybe if you got a Kiwi accent, you're going to have to try to speak Aussie, or if he's a Kiwi, you're going to have to try to speak Kiwi. Up on the hook, cuz, or down on the hook, mate. But yeah, first of all, don't mumble. The second tip is press the button on the receiver for at least half a second to a second before you start talking. And what I mean by this is some people, they push the button and talk at the same time. And what happens is the first part of the message hasn't gone through to the operator, so he hasn't heard it. And sometimes when you say up on the hook, all he hears is on the hook, and he's like, is it up, is it down? Because you're pushing the button and speaking, and it cuts off the first 2 words. So what you need to do is you need to push the button for half a second to a second first, and then speak. And that means that the crane driver is going to get all the message. So tip number 2, hold the button half a second to a second before you start speaking. Number 3, confirm with the operator the distance that you sound the best at. So what I mean by that is grab your microphone or your receiver, hold it like a foot away like this, say, hey man, can you hear me good here? And if he goes no, hold it out further, or if he goes no again, hold it in closer. And so what this does is it gives a good volume that the crane driver can hear you. If you've got a really good radio like Motorola's, they're pretty good. If you have them right up to your mouth, it's all distorted and he can't hear you properly, so you need to bring it far away from you. If you've got a really crap radio, you need to bring it closer to your mouth. So just liaison with the operator, say, hey man, is this a good distance? Once he says, yeah, that is, always try to hold that radio distance there, just so it always comes in clear and he's never got this frustrated look on his face like, oh man, this guy. So this is the third one, get a good distance for the mic. Number 4, let the operator know what's going on. So if you have a break in lifts, just tell him that. If you have got 10 lifts in a row, let him know that. All this does is it lets the crane driver calculate what he's going to do next. If you've got a 15-minute break and you say, hey, we've got that container next, they're going to be about 15 minutes, the crane driver can go, okay, cool, I've got 15 minutes to eat an apple, have a smoke, do whatever he needs to. It also gives him time to plan. Well, if I'm doing that container in 15 minutes, maybe I'll have a look at my load chart and see if I can actually do it. Or maybe I can think about the rigging, how we're going to rig it. And so this letting the crane driver know what's next is a good thing, because he can plan with you what's next and it can let him know. It's just better. What not to do is tell them about the next 40 lifts, because it's all too much. Don't say, oh yeah, we've got the container, we've got steel over there, we've got another light bulb, then we'll have smoker, then after smoker we've got this, we've got that, we've got the other thing. And you'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Calm down, just let me know what's next. So that's a good tip, letting the crane driver know what's going on. The sixth tip, don't go from using the radio to hand signals to whistle to radio to hand signals to whistle. It's annoying, it's frustrating, and the crane driver isn't prepared for it. So if you're using a radio, stay with the radio. If you're using hand signals, use the hand signals. If you're using the whistle, stay with the whistle. I mean, obviously, if the radio cuts out and you've got to use hand signals, yeah, fair enough. But what happens is when the crane operator is operating and you're on a radio and that's what you've wanted to use, he's in tune with your radio signals. So he's looking at the load, he's in tune with your commands, and he's going like that. So he's not actually looking at you. He's listening to you, but he's looking at the load, he's doing his crane movements, and he's chilling, you know what I mean? And so as soon as you start not using the radio and want to use a command all of a sudden, and then you look at him like, oh, how come he's not listening to me? It's because he's not. He's in tune with your voice on the radio. And when you start chopping and changing, it's like, well, pick one, mate, because like I'm not listening, looking, and feeling you. You know what I mean? Like, pick one. So that's number 6. Stick to the way of communication that you're doing. Radios, hand signals, stick with one. And we have 2 more to go. This is one that I come across heaps. Asking what the weight is during a lift. It can be a little bit frustrating for a crane operator. So he's got a heavy lift, he's doing 3 movements at once. He's slowing around, jibbing down, winching up, he's got a heavy load. And what happens sometimes is the customer will ask you, the rigger, hey, what's the weight? And then you go, hey, what's the weight, mate? And then you look at him like, how come he's not asking me? You know what I mean? How come he's not answering me? How come it's because he's doing 3 things at once. He's slowing around, he's jibbing down, he's winching up. He doesn't have a spare hand to say, hey man, it's 5 ton. So what you need to do is you just need to say, hey man, when you get a spare moment, can you let me know what the weight is? And then he can finish off what he's doing. You know, he can finish off these movements, and then when he's got a free chance, hey man, yep, it's 5 ton, I've noted the weight. And so that's a good little tip, just so your crane driver's not banging his head against the window. The last tip I have is have a laugh. There's nothing more than having a serious, mundane day. And having a laugh is good. Crack a joke, talk about his mum or something. I don't know. If he's a big guy, don't talk about his mum. Maybe, I don't know, laugh about something else. But have fun, have a joke. All this does is, crane driving is sometimes quite serious. Sometimes it's a high-strung environment. Maybe you've got 4 more jobs in the day and you need to get the job done. And it's quite stressful. And having a stressed out crane driver isn't a good thing. So when you crack a joke, when you make him laugh, it's actually better for the whole operation, because all that does is it relaxes him. He's had a laugh, he's relaxed, he's in a good state to think about, to move, to operate, and he's feeling good, and he's in a calm environment. If he's serious and high strung, you'll notice that through the movements, you know, and being angry, and then you'll start. So make him laugh, have a laugh, make jokes. You guys know all the jokes, so I'm not going to tell you any jokes, but yeah, that's it. Have a laugh, and that's it. That's the end of the video. Hope all these tips help you out and make your day go better, make you more professional. And anyway, cheers. Dale's Rigging and Crane Tips. Subscribe here.